Welcome to Invisible No More podcast, where we stand together as a beacon of hope for those who have served our country and faced unimaginable challenges. I am Shannon Huff, your guide through stories of strength, resilience, and healing. Our mission to empower women who have faced sexual assault in the military, find their voice, reclaim their power, and rebuild their lives. Join us as we share journeys of triumph over trauma, offer support, and shine a light on the path to restoration. Together, we are a Shield of Sisters. Welcome back to Shield of Sisters. This is episode 7. Today we're talking to Amie. Amie is a Navy veteran like myself. She has been on a retreat with Shield of Sisters. We just came back, actually. We were in Iowa. Amie has been very enthusiastic about being part of Shield of Sisters, and I thank you for that. So we're just going to jump right in and talk about your time in the service, what you did. I know you served in the Navy. What years were you in?
I was in from June of 1997 to May of 2017.
You joined right after I got out. I left in June of 97.
How long were you in for, remind me?
I did 5.5 years. I did 92 to 97. I was the last all-female company that went through boot camp in Orlando. What did you do in the Navy? Where were you stationed?
I was stationed first after my schooling down at Corey Station down in Florida. I went to the USS Theodore Roosevelt in Norfolk, Virginia. And I was there for about 3.5 years. And then I went to the training command out in San Diego, and I was an instructor out there. And then I went to Hawaii for 4 years. And then I was in Maryland for the last 8 years. One command was NSA, Maryland, and the other was Nickwich. It was down in Suitland.
Were you a cryptologist?
I sure was.
Oh my gosh, we didn't talk about this. I was a cryptologist. As soon as you said Corey Station, I was like, oh my gosh, she has to be a cryptologist. What branch were you? O branch? Well, they probably changed it after I got out, so.
I was an art.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Well, gosh, no wonder we get along so well. I wanted to talk about a little, and please feel comfortable to talk about your story if you want. If you don't want to, we could just talk about ways you have overcome what happened to you. So if you kind of just want to talk about how you found Shield of Sisters and what the difference is from before the retreat to after the retreat.
Yes. So I had a friend who had gone through, and she came back and raved about it and told me about it. And so I looked into it, and I was attracted to it because I feel like while I was in the military, I didn't really... because of things that happened in the military, I didn't feel like I had a lot of good connections and a network of sisters from the military. And so I really wanted to connect with other women and meet other female veterans and kind of come together in a non-competitive and very even ground, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. I was talking to Nicole in the previous podcast, and we were talking about how this is a club nobody really wants to be in, with what happened to us in the military. It's great to have that club of other lady veterans, but it's not an awesome club to be part of because we've all endured military sexual trauma. Can you give advice to anyone who is struggling with what happened to them in the military and how important it is to find a network and find other women to bond with that have been in similar circumstances and how much it can help?
If I was going to offer any advice, it's tricky because when you're in the military, and especially in the career field I was in, you didn't want to draw the attention that you were struggling or had things going on that were impacting your mental health. But while I thought I didn't want to let anybody know because of my career in the military, one of the worst things I could do, because I suffered alone and I didn't feel empowered. So the best advice I could give is to connect with the different flavor, I think, but for the Navy, it was the sexual assault prevention coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
Connect with them and plug into it and really get the help that you deserve. And don't suffer in silence, because there is help. And even if life changes, like in the career, I believe now in hindsight, I would have been fine. No matter where my life would have taken me, and if it would have changed my career field, I would have been fine. So I think the biggest advice really is just don't suffer in silence. Get the help you need. Learn how to find your voice so that you can rise above it. And there's no normal. I don't believe in, like, we're going to get back to normal. I think that's something we make up because it feels good to say, I want to get back to normal. But it doesn't have to be getting back to normal. It's just getting back to more functionality, feeling like you're more capable, and really connecting with people has helped me learn how much more capable I am.
Absolutely. One of the biggest things I took away from the retreat that you were at was the bond that you all created almost immediately. And, I said at the time, this is exactly what I imagined for Shield of Sisters, was the bond that was created. Do you want to talk a little bit about that and how different it's maybe been since you came back from the retreat?
Yeah. I think about it almost every day. Like, I did not know those three women in any way, shape, or form before connecting with Shield of Sisters. And like, I was supposed to go through Shield of Sisters last fall, but for some reason it didn't work out. And again, so what I said before, everything works out the way it's supposed to. I really believe that the four of us women were destined to meet each other there, because it was like we'd known each other forever. And the way we have continued to keep in touch with one another pretty frequently, and how we're setting up, even today with one of the girls, we set up that we're going to meet at the end of July at an Airbnb and just hang out and take time for ourselves. So it's like I have forever friends and sisters that I know I can help me, because professionally I am a life coach and a counselor. And I don't think it's just me, but I'm often there for everyone else, but I don't necessarily always admit how deeply I need help, or I could use someone to support me. And it's so weird. I've only known these girls, these women, it hasn't even been a full month yet.
No.
And I have opened up more to them and shared my struggles and my vulnerable aspects of life in a way that I've never done with people. So it's just what I get from it. It's what we have together, that we're able to be transparent and honest and support one another and encourage one another, and also be present with one another when life is hard.
Absolutely. One of my biggest takeaways from the weekend we spent was just how important it is to have a network where you can just talk, and you don't have to share your story. You don't have to share your trauma. You just know you have that bond because there is a common bond, but you don't have to share it in order to find the support that you need. And that's something I always wanted to happen with Shield of Sisters was you never have to tell your story. You can, but you don't have to, because we already share the bond of
I love that
yeah.
You do not have to do that.
Yeah. We already share the bond of being service members, being veterans. We just unfortunately share another bond. So if you could give any advice to someone who has signed up for a retreat and they're like, I'm not going to go, like they're the morning of, what advice would you give them?
Just go.
Just go.
Just get in the car and go. And if it means you need to stop and breathe and just know that what you're about to do is part of your healing journey, just do that. Like, we don't have to get in the car and just drive point A to point B. We can, like, it's not, we can do what we need to do to get us there. If it's writing a letter to yourself and, like, reminding yourself of why you said yes for this opportunity, or if it's contacting the person in charge and sharing with them how they might be having a hard time getting there, just go. Because it's one of the greatest things I've ever done. And being able to connect with other women and know that we have a shared commonality, but we don't have to go into the depths and drudge it all up. It was beautiful. And those women, and as well as you, Shannon, and Jody, and Penny, I know that if I ever needed anything, I could reach out to you guys. Mm-hmm. If I'm struggling, I know I could say I'm really struggling. And you're not going to judge me. You're not going to blow it off as if it's nothing or minimize it. You will allow it to breathe and have the space it needs. You may help me connect with resources, or you may just be present with me and listen. Mm-hmm. But whatever it is, I know I have you guys, and I didn't have that before. To be honest, when I got out of the military in 2017, I wanted nothing to do with it. People were like, "Oh, happy Veterans Day, and thank you for your service." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay." Because I needed to heal. Yeah. And be without it. And I did for up until, just recently I bought a ring when I was down. I went to Florida after the retreat. No, right before the retreat. And I bought this anchor ring because anchors are big for the Navy, of course. Yeah. But that was a big step for me because I wanted nothing to do with the military. And so when I wear that ring, it just reminds me that, yes, it was hard. But I've learned that I can do hard things and I can still grow from them and learn from them. So I don't know. It's just, we don't just go to see a counselor and expect instant results. And if you do, you probably aren't getting them. It's a journey. I really believe Shield of Sisters was such an integral part of my journey of healing. So it's, I'm just thankful for the opportunity. I'm thankful that you put the organization together and that you hold the vision for the whole program. And I just hope that it grows and we create this huge lady veteran network of women who really support one another.
Well, thank you. That's it's humbling, and people have asked me, why did you create Shield of Sisters? And a lot of times I'll say for myself, I needed the healing. I needed the network. I needed the bonding that I wasn't getting. And just like you and like so many other lady veterans I talked to, we're more likely not to identify as a veteran after we get out, just because we have had trauma. We have had a lot of bad experiences when we serve. And I identified for the longest time as a military spouse and not the veteran, even though I would, I would tell people if they asked. But I understand, not wanting to associate with something that was painful. And, but, I appreciate that you joined us at the retreat, that it was so powerful for you, because, watching over the weekend really helped me realize what I'm doing, and all the hours that we put into these is worth it. It's so worth it if we just reach even just one sister. So, and the growth across the nation only happens with sharing, about the retreats, getting people to join us on podcasts, spreading the word like you were told by your friend. And so, we're always grateful when we hear that, that you share with others. And, I came to the retreat because of my friend. So, thank you. Your words were so humbling. And I can't wait for our next retreat. We've got one in August, and then another one in October, and then our big conference in January. So we've got a lot of great things coming up that we're excited to share. So I'm glad we got to talk about your experience, because it's so fresh, coming off of a retreat.
Yeah, it is fresh. And I mean, it blows my mind, like, how I've just got people now.
Yeah.
And I just had to show up for myself and allow myself to, I guess, nobody held me, nobody coddled me and held me, but allow myself to be held, in the sense of, it was all the weight.
It definitely changes when you understand the weight of trauma, the weight of what you carry around can really impact you on a day-to-day life. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm so grateful for you joining me today. I know we're doing this over Zoom because you're in a different state. You actually came from out of state to be part of the retreat, and we appreciate that. And definitely have you back again and talk more as you do more with Shield of Sisters.
Yeah, I would love to be back, and I can't wait to do more with Shield of Sisters. It's such a great program. I can't wait to see it just grow.
Thank you. Well, that's all the time we have today. Thank you all for joining us. If you're interested in a retreat, or you'd like to sponsor a retreat for our sister veterans to join us, look us up on our website at shieldofsisters.org. We've got all kinds of great things that we're looking forward to doing, and we appreciate you joining us again. Thank you to all the members of Shield of Sisters Founder Circle. Superbio, we appreciate your continued support. If you are interested in joining our Founder Circle, please visit our website at www.shieldofsisters.org or call Shannon at 608-344-0210.